in the 16 session model, there's just this feeling that every moment counts. And so it made me such a more focused therapist. And it just made me feel like every session I went in and I was just like my best therapist self. And I think for the clients, they had that sense too. Like they were coming in really wanting to work. And so I feel like for the both of us, like it just created this um really this intensity of like we're here for a reason and let's do it. And it really kind of supercharged every moment and the relationship. And so I found that like I felt so much better. And it's not that like every moment something brilliant happened, but it just, I was so surprised at how much could happen. Now I'm just like, I will tell everybody about it. Like it really does work. And so it made me feel like I was a better therapist, and it just like made me realize how much change can happen when that is your goal and intention. It makes me, I think, work different in my private practice now. Um, it's been a really, really fascinating experience for me.
Add to that is it seems to be like a narrative arc that happens in 16 weeks too, like a beginning, middle, and end. You see it so clearly in terms of time and the crucible, the cooker, the 16 weeks. And then therefore we've seen the one thing I think all of us have seen is amazing work that happens with trauma, with things that are really difficult, even in long-term treatments. We've seen so many changes happen in 16 weeks that we're just amazed in our own work and in other people's work, is how much can get done. It's just, you wouldn't think that it could get done in 16 weeks.
It's really focused. And the intention is really different from open-ended session. And both clients and myself as a therapist, because I'm more intentional and more like a diving in, not really letting go. Something happens, really catch it and really stick to it. So that really made me as a therapist like grow. So because and of course the research, we go over all the survey and stuff, and made me more aware what I was doing and why I was doing. So just doing this, working on this 16 session made me really, as Emily said, like me better therapist. And it was so amazing to keep doing this work more intentionally, deliberately, looking at it and doing this work. So that's the amazing thing about this.
Me much more risk-taking when it came to relational and attachment work, really to the extreme that I've never experienced myself like that before. Like what comes to my mind is an example of one of the, from the very first patients that I remember this very specific moment that I'm really I'm pleading for his receptive, effective capacity to melt. And I never in my life plead like that before to anyone, but it worked, it worked. So that was wow. And then on another case, one of the latest cases that I treated, which was with really very deep attachment, severe attachment trauma, I was actually finding myself offering this something that, like, it sounded to myself like the most absurd thing to ask, like, would you like to leave your little one with me for this week so I will take care of her? And it's like so absurd, it's an old woman sitting in front of me. How can I dare say something so ridiculous, as if so ridiculous? And she was so relieved. And she said, yes. And she left her with me. And these moments that you sort of found yourself doing this crazy thing that you would never think before about, and they are emerging in the moment. They are sort of, they are breaking through something which is not the ordinary way normally I would work, but and I think it's because of this time limited situation that you need to do something very radical sometimes to break through these barriers or whatever. So it also comes to mind.
As I look